Hello everybody and welcome back. Good to talk to all of you again today. And today we are doing a ship review for Leone Tier 6 Premium Italian Destroyer. A ship that has been in development since I think 2018. It is currently 2021. We've gone through almost the full length of an entire pandemic. And this ship has been in development for longer than that. You would figure. Maybe all that time spent developing the ship means that, things got worked out. It got better. Maybe it got Italian SAP, because Italians have SAP now. And maybe it's got, the new smoke. And maybe they did work on the ship. And, well, take all those expectations that you had and put them promptly in the trash. Because Leone, I don't think has changed at all. If you were waiting for the ship, you waited a long time. A very long time. For basically the same thing. Wow. Where do I start? Well, let's start with the stuff that's good about the ship. And there's very few things that are good about the ship, but let's talk about them. The only notably good thing I can say about the ship is that she has a pretty good alpha strike. And that's about it. And you're probably going, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah. See, the only thing that she's really got going for her is the fact that she's got essentially 8 shells per salvo. And the alpha damage is not too bad, considering the number of shells that you're putting out. But that's about it. Her guns take a very long time to reload. We're talking a base reload of 9.5 seconds. Now, considering the number of barrels that she has, the DPM isn't, the worst, but it's not exactly amazing by any stretch of the imagination. So your DPM is kind of average. Your alpha strike is good, and that really is it. Other than that, the guns are, well, as you can see, the ballistics are floaty. The damage, if you're hitting other destroyers, is not too bad. Your concealment of 6.3 is It's kind of like average-ish. You really kind of need the help of ideally a more stealthy destroyer. In this game, I was able to utilize the Sashio as my spotter, so I was kind of able to utilize somebody else to help me out while I'm engaging ships that otherwise I don't think I want to go take a fight with, right? What else? Let's see. Her torpedoes, they do reload quickly. Oh, I guess that could be considered a thing, considering that they're dual torpedoes, so they reload at a pretty good pace. The torpedoes have pretty okay range considering your tier 6, right? They do have 12-kilometer range, but they're the slow kind of torpedo. And they don't really pack a lot of punch. It's kind of that Italian flavor of torpedoes. In fact, hitting 2 of them on a battleship might net you something like 13-14k damage. Not exactly numbers you want to be writing home about. And once you go past that, the ship has, she's not the fastest ship at all. I mean, with a speed flag, she's only doing just over 35 knots. If you take the extra sort of captain skill, that gives you speed when you're not being spotted, okay, she can do a little bit more than that. But when you're turning or you're wiggling, you're bleeding quite a bit of speed. With speed boost, she's okay in the speed department there, but I mean, that's really, you got to have everything going for you. She's big, she's not super maneuverable. Yeah, it's not a ship that's got a lot of things going for it, I would say. She's also kind of big. She's not exactly a small destroyer either, so does have a tendency of eating shells. And as you can see, look at the long range ballistics of the shells. You can see the shells kind of going, woo. Yeah, very standard of smaller-ish caliber, lower velocity destroyer guns. So that's Leone's sort of statistics in a nutshell. Good alpha strike really is the only thing I would say she's got going for her. And because of that, because she's sort of not got a lot of other stuff, even when you're picking skills for her, it's complicated. Like the first chunk of skills, that's not too bad, right? Like preventive maintenance, last stand, those kind of things, that's not too bad, you know? But once you've got sort of concealment expert, once you've got your adrenaline rush, the what else should you really get becomes more of an issue. The skill that gives you, the 4-point skill that gives you extra speed when you're not being spotted, that's almost kind of essential for this ship considering how slow she is. But then if you take that, you don't really have a lot of things to buff the weapons, and you really kind of need a buff on those weapons. Plus that one actually has a debuff in terms of rate of fire, hence your reload actually becomes 10 seconds. I mean, might as well play a cruiser at that point in time. Gee, yep, and as you can tell, no SAP, standard HE and AP. Yeah, not exactly one of those ships that I would recommend you running out to buy. Let's just put it that way, if I'm being kind to Wargaming about this. So, kind of makes me wonder why she spent like over 2 years in development hell. You know, nothing new has been granted to the ship, so what was the holdup, right? And I can't really answer that. So I guess we'll talk about how it feels to play this ship depending on which tier you are. I guess because, you know, I'm already running out of things to say about the ship because, you know, she's just not all that great. So if you're playing like purely tier 6 battles, she's playable. And ideally, if you're playing in battles with no carriers, then she's like playable. But yeah, carriers are the bane of this ship's existence, basically. If you have a carrier that's really out to get you, good luck. Why? Because remember I said the ship is just not very good handling wise, nor is she very fast. So it's not like you can reposition very easily unless you're, again, fully spec'd with 21 points and you've got the speed boost on and you've got the skill and you're not detected. And on top of that, if somebody comes after you, this is not one of those destroyers that likes to turn on a dime. She's sluggish, to say the least, in turns. And if you run into a CV that's really out to get you, that's really going to suck. If you run into 2 CV games, then, yeah, I wish you a tremendous amount of luck. And I say that because I had a game earlier in a pure tier 6 game where I ran into a two sub 50% CV players, and they just bullied me to death. Nothing I could really do. And I mean, I made them spend a lot of airplanes and some time, and that's about all I was able to do. I was able to, you know, sort of delay them from attacking the rest of my team, but that wasn't really much fun for me. Might have been better for my team, I guess, but that really wasn't much fun for me. The constant getting spotted, getting attacked, getting spotted, getting attacked, you know, hide in smoke, then get attacked with torpedoes and everything in smoke, so you're not, oh, just no. Non-CV games are a bit better. And in tier 6 games, depending on the competency of enemy destroyers you run into, the Alpha Strike can be scary. However, do keep in mind that your rate of fire is so abysmally poor that you don't ever really want to get into an actual knife fighting kind of distance. You know, the ideal kind of engagement range for Leone really seems to be around 6.5, maybe 7 kilometers. You know, a range where it won't be easy for the other destroyer to, let's say, torp you back and kill you with torps, or, you know, not at a range where their guns, especially if they have higher DPM than you, are able to come into play. You really have to stay kind of at that intermediate type range, because too far and your ballistics are terrible, too close and you really don't have that DPM to make the other person pay. In tier 8 battles, life gets a lot harder. And really what you're going to have to do, first of all, is really pray there is no CVs, which, depending on the, I guess, favorability of matchmaking on that day, you know, just how much matchmaking RNGesus loves you, if you run into no carriers in your tier 8 game, like I have in this case, she is still playable, right? Like, that Alpha Strike can be playable, assuming you have support. But in the event where you have an enemy carrier, in one of my games I ran into an Enterprise, that's not as much fun. because you're really sort of walking around on eggshells. Because if the Enterprise finds you and they decide to come after you, your big, huge side is gonna go catch a lot of rockets. Aside from that, let's say in the event that you're having a situation where the CV isn't paying attention to you, you've got a flank, maybe by yourself, without much enemy destroyer opposition, Leone's torpedo reload can play a role in helping you hold off a flank, sort of. And it's more the fact that it's just kind of scary for torpedoes, especially the Italian ones, which are kind of like sea mines. They kind of just pop up on you kind of randomly. It does have a little bit of a factor of kind of, you know, making people a little hesitant. And especially because they do come relatively frequently if you're constantly on the defensive, that people can be a little bit hesitant to try to get in on some kind of a push or anything like that. You know, the torpedoes, they don't do a lot of damage. There's not a lot of them, but they come frequently enough that it causes you to have to dodge and play defensively. And that can be an advantage in certain situations. But then again, if people understand what they're running into, then, you know, your torpedo armament really is a little bit more of a paper tiger kind of thing. You know, you look kind of scary with the number of torpedoes coming at you, but they don't do all that much. I mentioned earlier that, you know, even if you hit 2 out of the 4 torpedoes, a 50% hit rate, which is amazing, you're only doing like 14,000 damage to battleships. Not exactly anything to be, you know, proud of, shall we say. Yeah. So, I'm not really sure. I think the whole point of a ship like this now, especially these days when I see it, is I think this is the next Makarov, really. Kind of like, you know, let's put them in a container that is, you know, sort of, I guess one of those ships that you want people to get at the very beginning when they first buy crates, so they can say, I got a ship, but it's not exactly anything good. It's kind of one of those, like, future Santa crate stuffer thingy bobs. Yeah. You can hear it. I'm disappointed in the ship. Could I make it work? I guess that's another question. Could I make it work? Yeah, I can make it work. I mean, I can make a floating brick work if they give me one. You know, but really I needed like a 21-point captain. I needed really good awareness and really know how to exploit the one advantage she's got, that Alpha Strike. Really needed like friends, you know, like super stealthy things to give me that vision, and then I could make it work. Oh yeah, no CVs. Then I could make it work. But in a lot of other situations, Leone is, yeah, not particularly fun, unfortunately. So if you are thinking about buying a ship that's been development hell for the last like 2+ years, I would tell you don't bother. Not particularly worth it. Save your money for things better, or save your money for the next Santa crates. Because I know there are people out there who are going to buy Santa crates. And if you buy Santa crates, I'm like pretty positive this ship will be one of the first to pop out of those Santa crates for you. And so that's about it. Yeah, as you can see, not exactly the most impressive ship. I'm going to basically go and now I'm basically throwing my life away at the end here because there's not much left to do. I mean, that Bayern is being chased by Roma. I'm just going to go in here and maybe poke a cruiser or whatever, see whatever the damage I can get, and then that's about it because we're pretty much going to win this game here. Let's see here. Yeah, that Bayern's just running away from that Roma. That Roma, by the way, took an eternity to kill that cruiser earlier. Good lord. Cruiser was beached in like broadside and the Roma's like, I can't kill it. Anyways, oh yeah, by the way, you can see here, I have the speed boost activated. So you can kind of see the ship's speed when you've got both the speed boost active and you've got the skill active. You can get some hustle out of the ship. Like, you know, it will give you a bit of that, but as a whole, yeah. This is not one of those get there fast kind of destroyers, let's just put it that way. And you'll see here, she's really kind of sluggish. You'll see it here when I engage this Helena, because I'm spotted anyways, and this Helena is going to shoot at me anyways, but you'll see, she's not the most agile of things. If you're hoping for an agile destroyer, this is definitely not your thing. And that's about it. That's all I got to say. And yeah, she's big. She catches shells. Don't buy it. Anyways, folks, I hope you take care of yourselves. You know, it's crazy world out there. Be safe, be well, and I will catch all of you again next time. Right after I catch some more shells and explode. Right there. Take care, guys.